motions. I was the one who put the motion to the Hackney NET. It was actually something that happened in this school I teach here. There was a grab a bum day. For year 8, it circulated amongst young people. They didn't say which year it was, but it circulated amongst year 8 through texts. And it meant that for a day, there were openly children touching each other, grabbing each other, not just boys on girls actually, some girls doing it to other girls or to boys. And it was such a horrifying event for me that this was happening under our noses in a place of education that we thought we had to do something about it. And we had an assembly for women, girls and women only, in which we openly talked about their bodies and what's etc. And it wasn't a telling off, it was very much about trying to empower them to say no. And boys, for boys only, to empower them to say no to the pressure on them to act like that. And we talked about sexuality, what if you are actually gay, and etc, etc. It was just a kind of starting point, and it was partly because Ellie had been here and we'd done some very good work. I was in her year team when we started the LGBT work, so I thought, no, we need to start actually taking this back on in schools, because I know my mum was a teacher in the 70s, 80s, back in the day. This used to be part of what people did in education, and I know as a teacher now it is not part of what we do. Not because we don't want to, but actually I think the pressure on us coming from the league tables and the academies, that schools are now exam factories, means that actually that space to talk about things that mean something to children directly is being squeezed more and more. I mean, I know the PSHE is being destroyed all over the place. In my school, it's being run by NQPs who are very great people, but it's not the way they're running maths. So I just think that it's something we need to take on board. And the wider, even the bigger pressure on that, I'm not saying individuals don't do it. Individual teachers do it, okay? But it's the exception, and they feel very strongly about it, and I know that we need to spread this. And even bigger picture is actually with the rise of UKIP, with an increase of bigotry and discrimination generally in society, we are going to see more and more generalised bigotry, not just against girls. I mean, yesterday, for the first time in my whole teaching career, a kid drew a swastika and kill all Jews on something. Now, I'm not trying to say that, I'm not trying to freak people out, but I think we, as educators, our job is to try and take this stuff on. And we can do it in a classroom, and we can do it with children in a way that no one else can. And the LGBT work here transforms a school and a culture, not because you're telling them off, because they understand why this is wrong. I never tell a child off for doing something like that. I start with why they did it, and why it might not be nice if it was done to their mum or their sister or to them. And they start with them and then generalise. And so that was the call for this conference. And really the point of the declaration is to take back to schools something which asks schools to sign up. The top part is what we would like to get to. We want SRE, sex and relationship education to be compulsory in schools, because it makes a massive difference. Everyone's talked about that today. It's been a constant theme in what we're talking about. And that's general things we want. There's a number of things there. But the schools must, every one of us could actually take to our schools and start a discussion with teachers around it and take it to our senior leadership team. That we want to ensure that all teachers and staff actually have a responsibility and are trained in how to become confident and secure on how to take on sexist language and action. Set up anti-sexist initiatives in the school that involve pupils. We've had a number of examples, again, really nice examples in this school, other places. Promote positive and non-stereotypical images of girls. That would need time, that would need planning time to be given. We would want the schools to sign up to that. Encourage young people to build respectful relationships. Again, you have to teach that to a lot of young people. Encourage all pupils to question their ideas around gender, and finally to set up an anti-sexist working group actually for this, to make this happen, and keep the head teacher and management team attached to it. And I actually think it's, in the present climate for education, doing this actually starts to reclaim the kind of education we would like for our children, which is as whole people, human beings in a social setup who are not just about taking exams. And I think this is part of that fight, if you like. And so I'd really like people to take this away with them, whether they're in a school or attached to a school or a parent, take it to the school where your children are and see if you can get people to sign up to it. And that's a starting point. We've got Hackney NET email us ideas. I'm not going to take amendments to this because that would just be torturous, but email your ideas and things that you want to do. And then we should think about setting up a website which people can actually talk about what they're doing in their schools, think about taking it forward. So it really is a starting point, but I would really like people to adopt this, please.
So that should be emailed to the secretary, the same email address on the bottom of the flyer?
Yeah.
Yep.
Stick our hands up.
Oh, well, we don't take a vote. Right, who would like to adopt this declaration?
Yay!